Royce Laurie, and welcome to Cool Folks Who Love to Bachata. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the fall edition of Cool Folks Who Love the Bachata, live with members of Cool Folks from all over the world. This entire fall season, we've been going from like California to New York to Paris to Texas to Australia, you name it. I'm going all around the world virtually to talk with cool folks who love the bachata. I know about them, but do you guys know about them? What do they do when they're not dancing or performing or teaching? What hobbies do they have? What are their careers? What are their family time? What are their interests? It's one thing to look at a flyer and see a guy and a girl, see the time of the event and the location of the event. But it's a totally different ballgame when these professional artists go live with me and they talk. They teach you about life, and it's a true learning experience. This is the main reason I'm doing this. I'm doing this so maybe whatever discussions I have with each and every guest can maybe help you guys, can maybe help the world become much of a better place, could help the children, could help someone who's struggling through a depression or sadness or a broken heart, or maybe someone who needs career focus, So each and every guest that's been going live with me, has been doing a tremendous, great, wonderful job. So I appreciate all of them. I've been doing this for almost a year now. My anniversary is coming up in a couple months. I can't believe it. Facebook, whoa, guys. If you guys know, it was a struggle to get this done. Facebook and social media is like Roswell. Heck no. What are you doing? Insane. just keep to the, just keep to the schedule. Have them post their stuff. You like it and you love it and move on. I'm like, no, no, no. I want to do something unique that stands out. Okay, think about it. Cool folks who love the bachata. Not cool man who loves the bachata, not cool woman who loves the bachata, not cool people who love the bachata. Cool folks who love to bachata and more. Okay, we have dancers that not only love the bachata, but they love the salsa, they love the mambo, they love to. There's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of diversity. There's a lot of growth. There's a lot of love. Okay. Um. So thank you, Facebook, for allowing me to continue to do this. Okay. Um. I'm gonna have Sarah next week from Texas. She's gonna go live with me, and the beautiful Family Salsa from New York is also gonna go live with me. I mean, I'm just completely blessed. I got these wonderful, wonderful women that are, oh, Helena. Helena's here tonight. I mean, outstanding. Well, just thinking about her, I'm just like sweating here. She's a wonderful lady, beautiful on the outside and beautiful in the inside. So I am super blessed she's joining us tonight. She's in Maryland. So Helena, I'm going to bring you out in a couple. Let me just mention a quick announcement. Um, I'm going back. I'm coming back to the South. Um, and hopefully by Thanksgiving, I'm going to hang out with cool folk who love the bachata in Georgia and Florida for the winter, like I do every year, and then come back up here to New York and New Jersey for the spring. So guys, I'm looking forward to coming back home to see you guys, and yeah. But before we start this event, I just want to say something that's kind of out of the ordinary here. Okay, as everyone knows, some recent occurrences have occurred in the Middle East and specifically in Israel. I really don't have the complete scope, or I have to do more research. But as far as I know, there were numerous injuries and lots of deaths and a whole bunch of sad stuff. I don't even want to begin going into it too much of the details, but as most of you know, a lot of stuff is going on, and it's just sad. It's just I'm approaching like my 50, and then for the 50 years that I lived on this earth, I never thought that something like this would ever happen. I always thought stuff like this would happen back in the 1800s, in the Flintstone ages, but in today's world, stuff like this is still happening, and it's sad. I was just having this talk with my mom, and we're like bursting in tears and stuff. But anyway, I'm not here, to take sides or to get into politics. I'm here to say that um, there are people that are hurting, and victims and family. Even if you don't know those people that were hurt or whatever, the point is that it's out there, and as dancers, as organizers, okay, you guys have an obligation to do something, okay. I'm asking every organizer in Cool Folks Who Love the Bachata and around the world, please begin considering having events where your donations and stuff can maybe help those who really need it, medically wise, or people that are sick or whatever. So please, 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 please begin considering, how as a group you guys can organize stuff to better help this world. And the world needs your help so badly right now. On a happier note, okay, I'm gonna bring Helena, and Helena's gonna talk with us. Helena, hola, how are you? I love your blue shirt. Blue's my favorite color. How are you? How are you?
How are you? Um, yeah,
Um,
let's talk
Emotion.
positive stuff. Yeah, just now. Yeah, I'm really happy to be here. Um, it's great to I actually finally got a chance to meet you. Um, it was, it was a great interaction. You've got a lot of positive energy. So I'm really excited that we got to meet prior to this. Just running into each other at a dance event. So that was awesome. But yeah, I'm really happy to be here. So ask away the questions, and I will answer to my best of my abilities.
Of course, of course. And I just want to let everyone know that Helena's a sweetheart. I mean, she has a family, she has a kid, she has so much going on today. And I mean, she's taken the time to speak with me, you know, me of all people, on a Thursday night. I mean, so that tells me a lot about her. She's, and I'm very good at picking up people. I come, I mean, call it deja vu, call it, I mean, I'm West Indies. I mean, I just have a tendency to pick up people's vibe right away. So when I first met Helena has been a member of Cool Folks for at least 2 years now, but her and I
Yeah.
finally met a month ago at the DCPX stuff. How could you not notice her? I mean, she's like gorgeous. I came up to her. I'm like, I know you.
Oh,
You
I'm
know
really
you, and you're
tall,
gonna
so
go live with me.
really like.
Yeah, I said you're gonna go live with me, whether you like it or not, because you're gorgeous outside and you're gorgeous inside. She's like, okay, Roswell, let's do it. So, and she's here. Um, well, Helena, please tell everyone a little bit more about you, if you could, please.
Yeah. So everybody that knows me in the DMV area knows me as a set first, but I also dance bachata. I teach and dance bachata. I've been in this area for a while, but I came to this area not knowing how great of a dance community we had over here or have over here. And so I just got really sucked into the whole salsa world. So we just had
Okay.
such a great scene when I came into this area. I just really wanted just to dive in and like learn it all as much as I could. And going to New York, I got involved in that. Trips to New York, I was always going there every weekend. Going to some of the dance socials over there. I got really just hooked on it. My background obviously wasn't just salsa. Like I got it. I've danced jazz, sevillanas. Well, not yeah, sevillanas, not flamenco, but sevillanas. I've taken some hip hop classes. I've done some ballet, but my biggest thing was, in general, dance was my thing. Always, since I was a little girl, like dance has always been my thing. I've been dancing since probably out of the womb. Um, so it's one of those things where I just have a connection with it. It's a great way of expressing yourself.
Mhm.
It's one of those places where I go to when I'm having a bad day. It's one of those things where I just, in general, like if I'm having a bad day, I'll go to a social and I'll have a great time. And I also truly enjoy teaching. I've been teaching in this area for I don't know, it's like at least definitely over 10 years, probably 15, but I've been teaching in this area for a while. Um, but I love I love sharing what I learned and with the pros that I've trained with the teams I've been on. I love sharing to those who in the scene and they don't know anything, and I feel like it's my I'm not doing my due diligence if I'm not getting them excited. So when somebody, I want to share with them what I know and get them excited because their first experience with the dance instructor, your experience, if it's your experience, you want to motivate them to learn, whether it's from you or they take what they learn from you and they go somewhere else and learn. But no matter what, they have a positive like influence, like encouragement. Sometimes people come like a little insecure, don't think they can actually dance because they got two left feet. Nonsense. I truly enjoy that. In general, I'm very much an extrovert. Even in what I do in my day to day job, I'm very much an extrovert, and I love to teach. I love to socialize with people. I love to interact with people. So I like helping people. So that is my personality, and it's just one of those things where I love bachata. I definitely love bachata. I love that, and I love salsa. I just love in general dance. So I've been doing that, and a lot of people see me in this area. They know me. I've been on teams. I've had my own team. I teach everywhere, and I've traveled everywhere. So that's just DC's a this area DMV. We call it DC, but this whole area is a really great area to be in. I feel like we've got like the best DJs out there. We got so many DJs out here. They're all my friends. Salsa or bachata DJs. Like a lot of them are international. We have great congresses, like so many great congresses, so many great socials. ones that have been past like past 15 years, that socials. Um, we're just super blessed to have kizomba, zouk, salsa, bachata, the Cuban scene. I This whole area is just great. I'm blessed to actually be in this area to have all those options because I can't just stick to one. I might want to dabble in something else, but I have those options in this area, and that's one of the reasons why I've stayed here. Um, Even when I was working overseas, I came back to this area, so it's just this place is my home. But I'm originally from California. I'm from the West Coast.
Okay, California. Okay, great. I used to hang out in Santa Monica a lot. I used to just like hang out at the beach and just like soak it in. It was even before I got into bachata, and then I think it was like maybe like 5 years. Was it 5 years ago when they had that big brush fire in September of? Was it 4 or 5 years or six
Have a
years
lot
ago?
of
Yeah, yeah, and all of like
yeah.
Malibu and Santa Monica and everything's got, and I never went back since then. Now that you mention it, I have to go back because a lot of dancers from Kufos are asking me, Russell, when are you going to come out and, like JP Santana, his birthday was last weekend. Like, Russell, when are you going to come out and hang out with me? I'm like, Elena, thanks for reminding me about California. So I got to go back and say hello to everyone. But,
Yeah, and did you go to London too? Well, did you say you were going to London or Paris? I thought you said you were going overseas somewhere. Or no, you've interviewed people that were overseas, right?
well, speaking of overseas, I'm happy you mentioned that because, like, when I mentioned DCBX, I think I was talking about Dominican Republic. I've never been to DR yet, and I know it's sad because a lot of people are like, Roswell, you got a Facebook. That's Kufos left to Bachata. You haven't been to Dominican Republic yet. What is your problem, man? I'm like, I need someone who can go with me. They can hold my hand. They can protect me. They can. So, and I think Helena, I think when I mentioned the DCBX, I think I whispered, I'm like, hey, when you go, take me. I know you'll protect me. I know you're not going to make anything happen to Cool Man Who Loves a Bachata. So
I
when
knew.
you go,
I
I am
knew. That's
going.
not.
Okay. But, but, Uh, I want to ask you a question. I want to ask you a few questions. Um, I didn't really get into this bachata dance stuff. I mean, I'm from my family. I was born and raised in New Jersey. My family is from Guyana. So I'm like half West Indies, half Brazilian. So I grew up. I mean, I grew up with like typical American music and stuff. My family migrated to this country. They listened to American music and all that stuff, and I grew up with all types of American music and stuff. So I really didn't really get into le- music that was, a different language. Check this out, Helena. I dated a Dominican for the first time in my life, and it was a bad relationship, bad than bad, worse than bad. And because I forced it, it's one of those relationships where I felt that I'm in my 40s. I mean, I got to settle down. People's going to start talking about me. I just gotta get married. Just gotta do it because it just got to be done. You know. And but the question is that did I want to do it? But I felt that I had to. So 8 years with this person, and when it ended, boy, it was a disaster, and it was bad. It was so bad that I thought about like, ended my life, like that same night, like 8 years ago, and because I felt who's gonna want like an old man, and that's it, and then right before that magical night when I was about to like end it without telling anyone, not even my mom, I decided for the first time to turn on the radio and listen to something different than English music. And guess what that song was? It was like a bachata song. I don't, was it Romero or so? I forgot the artist. The point is that when I listened to that song, um, I didn't have any intention. Something just, I don't know if it's a calling or what, something just says, Russell, turn on the music before you decide to drink that liquid that's going to, and I said, what do I have to lose? So when I listened to the song, all of a sudden I began to feel stuff here, not here, Everything in my life I felt here. First time in my life I felt something here. And the music, even though I'm not, I don't speak the language, I didn't understand anything that was being played, I still felt something here, and it felt good, man. It felt like I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel. I decided to get dressed, comb my hair, go to the nearest dance club that were playing bachata music, and I stayed there all night. And I didn't even think about my breakup. I didn't even think about ending my life. I just felt cool. I felt cool for the first time in 8 years. You know. So to make a long story short, that's how I got into bachata, and that's how bachata saved me. Now I know you. I mean, I know your background is bachata, salsa, mambo, and everything. So let me ask you a question, similar to something that I just shared with you. How did the music world, not specifically bachata, but how did the music world change you or impacted you? I mean, and it doesn't have to be a life threatening or life, after, going to the next world, but you know, how did the dance world or the music or something significantly hit you here and you are, you know, on a different road? I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, do you have anything to share, like how
Well,
music
it's
saved you?
interesting. Um, I would say, I would say saved me. I just reconnect. It's interesting because a lot of bachata, especially it was probably traditional bachata. Well, obviously it's traditional because like in Dominican Republic. I always feel like it's like country music. Country music usually breakup and sadness into it, but you just love country music. Some people that love it, that can resonate with it. And even though there's not a don't you're not understanding what you're saying, you're hearing someone singing your soul about maybe a breakup from someone that they love. So that's probably what you were feeling, I would say, where you can connect with that and you don't even know the language. And that's the beauty of just music, is like these songs that sometimes people can't resonate with. They don't understand what's being said, but they can connect with it. They just can. They can hear it, and that the vocal artist is like soul, like they can hear it. With me, I grew up in California, so I was all into techno and house. I was battling everybody, and anybody that, in general. And then I joined the military, and then I remember somebody introduced me to hip hop, and I was like, oh, this is it. This is it. Done with house and techno. It's gonna be my second thing. This is it. So I was all getting into that, and then I had she was Dominican, a friend that took us to this Latin club when I was stationed in Virginia Beach, and one of the things was they took me to a Latin venue. I had never gone. In fact, I actually fought it. I was like, I don't want to go. I want to go to this club that has all the music that I like. And I remember in California, I mean, all my friends were Mexican in California. Like I was the only Panamanian. Most of that music is like Tejano music, whatever. I wasn't all into that. I guess maybe I just didn't relate to it, so I didn't care for it as much. But I mean, because brings me back to home. But I walked into this club and I heard bachata for the first time. It was the weirdest thing. I really actually was like, "What is this?" Like I've never heard this before. Like, what is this? Like, and
Yeah.
I connected with it right away. And then there was, like obviously I wasn't that great at, or I wasn't even good at dancing that. I just kind of just wanted to be. And my friends took me on the dance floor. I remember I went to New York, got into like salsa. So that's where I started dancing, going to salsa clubs, and um, I probably was told, once or twice that I just didn't know how to dance salsa, but I didn't care. I just was like in this. And as I got better over the years, because I remember when I was in Spain, I learned, like I actually took my lesson and I learned casita. And that was like, I just got even more deep into it. And when I got back to the East Coast, then I got into like on two, on one, everything. But it was so funny that like when my dad passed away, I took my mom, and this was years later, I took my mom, to San Francisco, and we were just having conversations, traveling, and we just had like, because I wanted to get her out of her funk, because we lost our dad, like my dad, her husband, and they were married for so long, and we sat down, we were talking about all these things, me and my dance and stuff, and my mom was like, "That's who you remind me of," and I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "That's where it's at." She's like, "I don't know why I didn't think about this," and then I asked her, and she said, "Your grandmother used to drag me when I was little to Celia Cruz's concert. I saw her a million times. Mom, you saw Celia Cruz? Why didn't you ever tell me?" She's like, "Your grandmother used to drag me all the time. She used to have like street parties in Panama. It was like a big thing. My grandmother was like, may she rest in peace. My grandmother was like, we talk all the time. Everybody knew my grandmother. They loved my grandmother. She was very extrovert, just very loving, very giving. And like my mom told me she was pregnant, she would always play salsa. She would always play like bachata. She would always play all that. And it was so funny because she said, this makes more sense to me than anything. She's like, when I was carrying you, it was always in the house. Your daddy's just like, your mother, when did she ever stop? And my grandmother didn't, because that was her thing. And then when I was born, my grandmother took care of me, and like, yeah, that was the music, like it was always there, right? Mind you, I grew up I traveled with my father. I was an army brat in the family, and whenever we go to California, and all my friends that all these like quebraditas, cumbias, and all that, didn't really care for it as much, not that big. And then went to this club this just one time, and all of a sudden it was just like it just drew me. It just drew me, and then that's where I realized I had a connection with it since before I was born. Connection with it. That's why whenever I dance, I'm always happy. It takes me back somewhere, like it takes me back somewhere, and that's that. My connection with it was before I was born. Well, I was my mom's moon. Like my grandmother always had it, and I remember when I only saw my grandmother when I only saw her for 4 days because she had a problem with her visa, and I remember, and my mom had moved to the States, and she uplifted, and we all came here like into California. She had family, but it was we were trying to get my grandmother to the States just to visit, but my grandmother never wanted to stay there. And I missed my window. I had to rebook my ticket, and I remember I only got to see her for 4 days. Um, and I remember this was when I was already getting into salsa. I remember she saw me dancing, and like there was a language barrier because my Spanish was not that great, but she was this look on her face was just so like like she was so happy. I remember we had this dance. It was just like the best dance I ever had, and I just know like that was my connection with it, was that it came from when I was before I was even born. It just was a connection with music that I had. So that feeling that I had when I first heard it, I was so excited because you know it was there somewhere. I just didn't know until I was there. I was out in that venue, and all of a sudden it's this connection, and I never stopped. I never stopped. When someone told me you don't know how to dance salsa, I didn't stop. I was like, okay, all right, next. I had people tell me, oh, you don't know how to dance salsa because I didn't know how to turn. I went through these stages, but yeah, like I had for whatever reason I never stopped. I just got more hungry. Just I wanted to learn more. I wanted to just train more. I want. It was I like that connection I have. It's really great,
No,
honestly.
I'm happy you're saying that. You're the first person. I mean, all the guests that I had, they talk about stuff like, within like the 2 years or stuff after they were born. I mean, so for you to say, the dance stuff was a love like connection right away, even before you were on this planet or something. I mean, psychology. This is where psychology comes in. I'll tell you this really super quickly. They say when I majored in when I attended Rutgers, I had this psychology course on oh god, I forgot the name of it, but it's something about like the child is in the mom's, inside of the mom and stuff. And my professor was saying that how the child becomes into an adult is based upon those those few weeks when the mom, what environment she's in. Let's say she's, let's say she exercises or whatever. Then the child might
Yeah.
come out to be like a fitness person. Or let's say the mom yells a lot, then the child might be like a public speaker. Or let's say the mom listens to music, or there's music around. For some reason, I'm not a biologist, but that baby or whatever, like, is listening to all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
is listening to all of that stuff, and that's you're scientifically proven this to be true based upon your
Yes.
example, because the you come out and look what you became. I mean, you just, so, what if, I don't know, what if your mom was like climbing Mount Fuji right before she had you and stuff? Maybe you'll be climbing mountains in Maryland. I don't know,
It's
but
it's
no,
awesome.
it makes.
It,
I'm
it,
sorry. I'm happy you said that,
it,
because psychology is part of my field, so and I'm happy you say that. You're the first person to actually say something like this, so I'm super proud. So that's great. That's great.
I used to actually put those earbuds, those buds, when I was pregnant. I put those on my teeth
Mhm.
with mostly classical music, but I would always test the theory out, like which music my daughter liked most. Was it salsa or bachata?
Um,
And I think she actually liked salsa more than bachata when we played it. But right now she's more into. But I also listen to a lot of hip hop and all that.
mhm.
So and I will honestly say that I listened to that when I was pregnant the whole time, like that itself. I mean, I have everything. So my daughter really gravitates to any of those like songs that are popular right now, probably on TikTok, will gravitate to it. In fact, she'll actually call out the name and ask me to go play, and then she gets in her mood. So yes, music does have some sort of something to do with it. So when you're in the womb, for sure, definitely, most definitely.
You should take her to the salsa room. You remember back in the days? I mean, is this still around? I used to live in D.C. I don't know if I told you, but my history is that before Atlanta, it was Miami. Before Miami, it was Austin, Texas. Before Austin, Texas, I lived in D.C. Well, temporarily lived in D.C. I could not afford it, so I
I
found
remember
an
you
apartment in Arlington, Virginia, and this was
okay.
like my God, 7 years now. I used to go to a place called the Salsa Room. That's it, the Salsa Room. It was in Arlington, Virginia. I don't know if it's still around. Yeah.
It is, but it got has a new location now, so it's in Tyson's Corner and not too crazy far, but it's the same thing, but it's just in another location in Virginia,
Oh, okay.
and
Okay.
everybody knows this. Yeah.
Yeah. So I used to go back and forth to New Jersey because I lived in Wayne, New Jersey, and to visit my mom, make sure she's okay. So on the weekends, check this out. This is so weird. I used to hop on a bus. I didn't have a car back then. I could not afford it. I used to hop on a bus from New Jersey all the way to Arlington just for one night, just to go to the salsa room. And then I hop on a bus and come all the way back on a Sunday. People are like, Russell, what is it? Is there a girl there? What's your problem? Is it the water? I'm like, well, I don't drink. I don't smoke. I'm not dating anyone. I just loved it. And I just loved the scene and the instructors and the people and, DC, Arlington, Maryland. It's just friendly people. And I'm like, I love that, but I
Yeah.
miss that. So maybe take your daughter to Salsa,
Hey,
Salsa Room Part Two, I guess.
we've
So,
also been notorious for having house parties, and these house parties are they like mini congresses, and we had people from all over come to these house parties. So yes, the salsa room is a staple in this area, obviously. And we had several anniversary events there too. I've celebrated
mhm.
my birthday like there several times when it was like resolution jam because that's like a big thing in beginning of the year. So yeah, for
Wonderful.
sure. Hmm.
Let me ask you a question on children. I think this is the perfect time to ask you that because I know you mentioned your daughter and so. Congratulations, first of all, for being a mom. I always like to congratulate people in the dance world that are professional dancers and they still are able to maintain a family and have a kid. I mean, that takes a lot of work, because you live in the nightlife and you have to, it's part of your job. But then again, your daughter is your life, So for you to, you know, to handle that, I mean, that I admire I admire all dance artists, but I very much admire dancing moms. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, yeah, I admire dancing mom because for them to do, for you to do what you do, that's great. It takes a lot of organization and a lot of love. So great kids. Now, if a young kid comes up to you, and well, back in my days, I'll tell you real quickly. Um, my family, basically my parents, they were very like super strict, you know. And you can't blame them because who would want their kid to suffer, And so, when we were young, we lived in a tiny little basement, in a bad area of New Jersey before Wayne, because we just couldn't afford anything, and it was like all the family siblings. We shared one little bed. I didn't really go anywhere and stuff. I was introvert. No, I don't know. I just wasn't social at all. And but my family, especially my dad, used to tell me, son, whether you like it or not, you're gonna go to college. You're gonna get your master's. You're gonna get your PhD. That's it. Dancing, drawing, acting, that wasn't even talked about at my house. you know. So I did exactly what my parents said. Went got my bachelor's, got my master's, did the PhD stuff, and doing legal stuff. But deep, 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 deep in my heart, Helena, I always knew I was cool man who loved the bachata. I always knew I was cool man who loved the bachata. I don't know about salsa or mambo, but I know a cool folks who loved the bachata deep down in my heart. But I was terrified, especially my dad,
I
for like
love how you plug
disobeying,
that in.
So to make a long story short, you know, if a young kid comes up to you and they say, Helena, I'm dead serious about um, being the next dancer. It could be salsa, mambo, whatever. But you have a kid, and you know that you don't want to discourage your child, but then again, you don't want to not discourage. I mean, like how it's competitive in the dance world, especially now and stuff. But the young one, you can see it in their eyes. You of all people can see this. The young one
Yeah,
means what they say.
yeah,
They're not lying
yeah,
to you, and they got what he or she got what it takes to make it. But then again, you don't want them to suffer on that journey. You don't want, there's a lot of competition, and what if it doesn't work out? So what advice would you give the little one who comes up to you and say, Helena, I really want to become the next professional dancer. What would your advice be to that little one? And don't say, go ask Roswell, because I don't have an answer. Don't say, I don't have the answer for the little one.
Mhm.
So,
I would tell them that if I was you, if I had, because I started later. I wasn't. I wish I would have started. Like those gymnasts where they start when they're first young or whatever.
oh, okay.
I would say like you are perfect age to go ahead and start. You have your whole life ahead of you. So this is like the fact that you're interested now is
Mhm.
great because there's people that are learning like way past their 40s or whatever, and they're just getting into it, and they've got like a road ahead of them, and they've got that. But you're not even you're not even a teenager. I would think
Mhm.
that the person you're talking about is not a teenager. You have your whole life ahead of you, and and everything with salsa is time, practice, and dedication, right? So and patience too. Like you can't learn something overnight. So take that and gradually, and you're never gonna not get better as long as you keep trying. So if you're starting this young, I mean, honestly, I was like, had I known all the stuff that I know now, I would have done it so much differently, like as a teenager. So much. My mom didn't get me into it. I always wanted to be in some sort of something, but my mom couldn't like really afford putting me on these things, so I just joined
Mhm.
whatever I could. That was probably an extracurricular that was something, but I couldn't really like my mom couldn't afford it for me in the dance squad or cheerleader. So I just I eventually just made it happen, but if you want to and you have your parents supporting you on that, or just in general, if you want to in those programs, do it, and not just do salsa. Like learn everything because you're. I always feel like you're only restricting yourself if you're just learning one genre. You should. I mean, I've in my teaching, I've had ballet dancers that have done. Now they're getting into salsa, and it's much easier for them. They are a little too perfect with their spins, but they get into it. But they've had something else. And you're young and you want to try this out, and along with other things, and your brain is gonna absorb all that and just practice and practice and practice. We have so many great dance teams that in this area that came from high schools, like the Salseros. I just had them at my social. They're so amazing. Like these kids, I've seen some of them grow and come out of there, and now they're like some of them are, a lot of them are, because they're alumni. In one of our local dance teams, Ardiente, like a lot of them, all of them going in there, and they're just great. They gradually just kept going, and they had right people guiding them. So it's not something that you can't do. You're young. You have years ahead of you, so there's no reason why you should just think that you can't do something. Even if you have two left feet, there's no reason why you should. Anybody that has two left feet can learn dancing. All you just need to do is trust the process, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Okay,
That
that's
gonna,
great.
you
That's
know,
great. And yeah, no, that's great. And the reason I respect
I
everyone's
keep going.
answers, yeah, I respect everyone's answer, but especially someone who's a mom and a dancer. So I respect that even more
Yeah,
because you know when a kid means it. You know when they're like
yeah,
playing around. You know if they want to become
and
Helena. You know if they want to become the next mambo dancer, the next bachata dancer, the
and
next
it
Roswell dancer. You know it.
it's. I feel like it's the influence around them. Like I told you, my daughter, she's trying different John like variations of dance. She's on honestly, she doesn't even like me dancing with her. She wants to have her own stage and she wants to do it herself. So
Oh,
I can't even enjoy the dance. So I got to work on that. But she wants to just do it herself, and she's like, I want to dance. I don't want you to dance. I just want to be me. And she went there and practice on her own. So I want her to get more involved in the salsa, but she also, again, like I like all different kinds of music, not just salsa and bachata. Although that's what I like. I'm so just knee deep in it, but I do like all different kinds. And my daughter is like on that other side. But I also have a dear friend where her son was born into it, like literally born. The music bachata was playing as he was born. I was there,
oh
playing
wow.
as he was born, and like that boy loves dancing salsa and bachata, and like he's just like he's probably gonna be the next know king or whatever. Like he's doing it himself. Like loves it. He's invested in it. So it's everybody has a different pace. Whether they get into it when they're super young or when they're older, but they have a different pace.
Mhm.
And it's just, as a parent, I feel like, don't ignore it. Like, embrace it. Like if, when they're ready, like, okay, let's go ahead and try this. And if they don't get disappointed either. So with my
Mhm.
daughter, like I go by her pace and
Mhm.
I welcome whatever it is that she's getting herself into. She's very artistic,
Mhm.
and she gets that from her mom because I've got an interior design. I went to school for interior design. I'm doing construction management, but I also like in high school I was a photographer. I like to
Oh,
sketch and I like to draw. I like to paint. My boyfriend, I've painted. He's got several commission paintings from me that he loves and he has in his office. Like I have like an artistic background. I used to in my team that I had, which was Fusion Urbana. I used to make my costumes for my team or design them and then get them made. So I'm very creative with my hands, and my daughter has the same characteristics as me. So I definitely think in motherhood, it's great to see your child, blossom into who they are. But I can't go into that with the expectation that she's going to be me. I have to
yeah,
sit there and
right.
just taper it down. And if she wants to, I'm ready to go. Like
Mhm.
I'll do
Mhm.
that. But if not,
Mhm.
whatever she's involved in, like that wants to get into, I'm there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you want her to, still be her. You want her to be, who she wants to be. But then again, I mean, you're still a mom. You can't
Yeah,
escape that. I mean, if you see danger, like my mom, She sees danger. My mom is 81 years old, Helena, and I'm a grown man. You know, if up to this day, 2 minutes before you and I went live, she's like, we don't go out late at night running in the park because you never know what might happen. She's telling me a grown man like that. She's like, go run like you normally do, but still have your, shield
Oh,
up.
yeah, yes.
So, um, but
Times are we're-
uh,
so we have to be more aware for sure.
exactly. Um, I'm trying not to shut you off because like you're saying so wonderful stuff, and do you have a few more minutes to spare? I know you have a curfew by 10, and we're a little bit over. You have a few more minutes, or to spare just a few more minutes? I gotta ask you
Yeah, like
some.
10,
Okay,
10.
when you gotta go, you be like Roswell. I'm out of here. Okay. First of all, I wanna say you are photogenic, and I would like share some of your work on our Cool Folks Who Love the Bachata webpage, so the rest of the members can see it and stuff. I would love for them to see, your work and the photos and everything. Yeah, that would be good. That would be honorable. I would love to see more of your work, and cloud photography and stuff is something I never got into when I was young. So I'm always fascinated with stuff like that. So please share it. Um, um, Let me ask you something before we go to events, because I know I would love for you to tell people about your events. Um, Support. And you remember at the beginning of before we went live, I mentioned of what's going on in the news and all of that stuff, and for dancers to come together and support. So this is a good time for me to ask you this. Okay, it's a Saturday night, Helena, right? It could be Arlington, it can be Miami, it can be Atlanta, it can be New York, it can be Paris, somewhere. Saturday night, you got like five of the world's greatest, and I do mean greatest organizers, hosting each event back to back, and you all live within like 5 miles radius, right? John dished out like 10,000 for his event. Maria dishes out like 22,000. The third person dishes out like lots of money here for her event. You know, maybe like 18,000. Eduardo dishes out about like, oh my God, maybe like 28,000. Keel dishes out about maybe like 18,000. Okay. Wow. That's a lot of money. Whew. Thinking about it, I'm sweating. Now, the problem is that you, I, and the rest of cool folks and beyond cool folk, we have to go to all of these events. Number one, they're friends of ours. We know them, we respect them, we love them. Media, we have to show up. You don't want them to feel bad. I show up to John's event, right?
Hmm.
I see you, I see a couple other people, just a couple other people, not many. I stay there for about like an hour and I leave because I have to go to uh, our next friends event, right? So
Hmm.
I hang out there for about, let's say, 2 hours. A good numbers are there, like 18 people. I guess that's good, right? 18 people. So I hang out there, blah blah blah. Then I decide to go my Uber and I go uptown to Michael's event. Hang out there, say hello, blah blah blah. A few other people show up in addition to me. Not many, maybe like 11 people. Okay, and then I go to this next event by Eduardo event. I hang out there about like 3 hours. Not many, not so many people show up. Maybe like 22 people. I guess that's good. Keo, our little friend here. Before the night is over, I don't want to get yelled at for not showing up, giving my support and whatever. I show up, then maybe you show up, some other people show up, etc., etc. Maybe seven of us, from what I remember, were there. 7 people. Okay. To make things worse here, I didn't get to dance with anyone because I was traveling all night to give my support and love to all of them. It's 5 o'clock and I got to go home. The problem, forget my ego. The problem, Monday morning comes, little Helena. The accountant comes, the smart guy, super smart guy. He tells our friend Michael, guess what? Out of $22,000 that you invested, bro, you're only getting back a $750 in your pocket. He goes here and have a talk with our friend here, and he said out of 18,000 that this person dished out, she only is getting about maybe $122 in her pocket. Now he talks to this person here. Remember this? I guess it was Michael. I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact name. He dished out like maybe like 20 something, 20,000 or whatever. He only got back maybe like $400 to keep in his pocket. Our friend here, ooh, just thinking about it, I want to cry. All that thousands he dished out, he only got maybe like under $200. And this little person here, oh, I didn't even want to think about it. I'm just going to burst in tears. The point is that it happens again next weekend, next month,
Hmm.
and the following year. Keep going and going and going and going. So my question to you and everyone, and this is a general question, so don't feel there's a right or wrong answer. I'm talking about collaboration and how the dance world can support one another and et cetera, et cetera. I know we all got bills, we got mortgages, we got, kids, we got cars, we got, chaos in the world, but we got to survive. But does it make sense, man, that they do this same thing over and over and over and over? Maybe I'm missing something, or maybe I'm still kind of new to the dance world because I just pop in, say hello, pop out. I don't really don't like sit there and ask them like, "What do you do for your money?" Like, what? uh, but I
Well,
see stuff.
well, the
So
thing is
what would
that,
your response be?
yeah.
Yeah, like,
So, and I speak because I have my own events as well.
okay,
It's, I think when I first got into having events, I was always tiptoeing on because I have relations with everybody. Like in general, I try to, navigate. But like, there's so many people having events in this area. It don't. I mean, like in my, I teach classes on Wednesdays. There's a lot of classes in my vicinity that are going on, and it's not like I'm gonna stop because I have my own, you know, clientele. Like I have people that I that come repeatedly to come to me. So like everybody has their own audience that they cater to, or
mm,
like people that they just that gravitate towards them. With the events, oh, just thinking. With the events, um, you deal with that too, unfortunately. I think that the organizers try to sit there and maybe pick and choose, but like especially if you said a Saturday, you said 5 events on a Saturday. Um, I don't know if I ever been on a weekend here where there's 5 events. Usually, like it's two or three. But if
mm,
these people are having these events, you got to think about it. Like some of these events are not all salsa related. Some of them are just straight bachata. So all those people who are
mhm,
just bachata dancers are gonna go to this. So it's okay that they have a Saturday event. Then there you're gonna have the straight mambo crowd. Maybe it's a new crowd. If there's someone's having that, people are just gonna go there. Then you have like ones that like salsa and bachata, and maybe someone's gonna have that. That kind of generalizes it. So these organizers are doing what they can. That the one everyone gets along with each other. I would say. I mean, there's some
mm,
communities that maybe they don't, but I just know that there's no hard feelings if someone else is having an event on the same night as someone else is having. I try to be mindful about that. Like I know when there's a big congress going on, I won't even bother because there's too much. I'm gonna want to go to that Congress too. If not, if anything, like especially this BCS, I might be teaching at that Congress. So I usually try to cater to that with my events. But there's, in general, like I think these organizers know each other well enough to know that there's no hard feelings with that, and it sucks because collaborations are great, but if you have four DJs or four from organizers doing an event at a venue, and like they try to split all that up, there's not much profit in that. So it's better off that
mhm,
they go ahead and do their own event, maybe like have it their way, and then they might have something. They might have something coordinated. I guess an agreement with whoever the venue is that they're throwing it at, or an agreement with the studio owner. So again, like I see what you're talking about, but definitely not. I definitely would push away from having congresses or festivals in the same weekend because it definitely does. I mean, that does happen here. Actually, it does. But these festivals are kind of different. Like you got Interfusion, that's like they got their group of people that do a lot of different things, and then you've got like Viva la Bachata, that's like all like Central Bachata or whatever. I mean, you've got all these different events, but again, this area is so condensed with different types of dancers. There could be Mr. Mambo's has like a whole crowd there too. Like he doesn't you have it, but it's in this, especially in this area where I'm over. I'm not far from DC, Maryland. We call it Montgomery County. We have a lot of different events going on. Even TSR is not that far. Baltimore's its own city. They got their own thing going on, but in general, like everybody travels where they want to go. It's kind of hard to try to coordinate with people. I think when I first came in this scene, I was a newbie. I think there might have been some group that kind of got together and decided when they were going to do it, and I don't think that lasted for long because everyone does their own thing. Especially if you have new people that are new instructors and they want to go ahead and have their own events, you're going to deal with that too. Nobody can, nobody knows everybody, so I don't have any hard feelings if someone else is having an event on the same night as me. I can't. I just got to focus on what I'm doing. And at the same time, I try to see what's going on. My social is like I try to make it every third week of the month, and if it's a holiday, I have to move it around, and also I have to coordinate it with the owner. But for the most part, like if I just like I said, if I know there's a big huge festival, I'll push it up or push it after. I try to work that way. I mean, that's me trying to work with everybody, even though I'm not trying to. I mean, I'm just doing my own thing, but I'm moving it around just a little bit. And I think a lot of other people would probably do the same thing too.
Yeah, you're trying to be fair, you're trying to be loyal, you're trying to be professional. I mean, back in the days, like way back in the days, whew, like back in the 70s, 80s. I know I'm so old. Yeah, I remember you could walk down the street somewhere, you could confidentially tell that person that, hey, I have an event coming up, and they would kindly respond to you and say, guess what? I have an event up also that week in Roswell, but I can move mine to next week, so it doesn't like conflict with your event. So I mean, this was like old school, and there was a calendar back then and all of that stuff, just like. So I just figured that I'd bring this up, and I get all of you, everyone that comes on their opinion because I mean, Kufo's Love the Bachata. I see everyone post things. I see what's going on. I see who's having who, where's going.
Yeah,
I go support
yeah,
and I show up. And sometimes I walk with the expectation there's going to be hundreds of people here. Because I see the flyers and the pictures. I'm like, oh wow, this is going to be a good crowd. And then when I show up, there's only like 8 people. So I
you
just
know,
wanted to bring this up. So maybe what you're saying, Helena, can help who's ever listening, or if people are struggling, or maybe newcomers, new organizers. I mean, whatever help you can get, whatever help.
yeah,
So.
and it's funny because I work with you know my boy Jody Smooth, and DJ Bachata Larry. They have their own events too. So,
Mhm.
I have that event, but I have my classes that I do, and then I teach in different areas, different events here. But they're so I'm busy as an instructor. Um, I'm also doing MC. I work with Washington Talent and I'm a glide dancer. So I do mitzvahs on the weekends. So I do like some MC and dancing as well. So I'm doing private events on the weekends. I've got my whole schedule with that. And then I've also worked with these guys who've got their own events too. And they work with other DJs and other organizers. It's like a whole mix of stuff, right? So with my schedule, they got to work with my schedule, and then I got to work with their schedule. It's a lot. It's a lot. So
Yeah.
you can only do what you can do, and I try to support everybody as much as I can. I if I'm not working on the weekend, like I said, I do emceeing or MC dancing, um, with these private events. If I'm not there, then and I
Mhm.
can actually go, I'm gonna go to. I'll try to support one event. I can't do what you do. I can't go 5 events. That's a lot because
I
5 o'clock,
know.
and then I gotta go ahead. I got my next job is my daughter. I gotta be
Mm.
present for her because when she wakes up, there's no sleeping. So I have to sit there and pick an event that I can
Mhm.
do, along with maybe working an event, and then just be present as much as I can. But I try to support as much as possible. Even if I had an event that ended and then like ended early, I would go to another event and just show my support. And I get that from other people too. Like everyone like tries to support each other for the most part, unless they got some sort of beef with each other that I don't know of. Then
Well, I noticed that about you. I'm happy that you mentioned that. You are true to your word. When I first met you at GCBX, I'm like, oh, Helena, we're going to hang out here. It was Friday night. I just came. And you're like, Roswell, like, I might come back the next day because you have a next event. So you weren't going, that next event you were telling me about, that was not a party thing for you. You were just going to support that
hmm
person, whoever that person. Oh my God, you're such a good person. Oh, that I told that night. I didn't know much about you that night. I just thought you were a party girl because you looked like you were partying like all weekend. So I'm like, okay, fine, fine, go, go. Now that I'm listening to you, you're supporting everyone. Oh, you see, this is all right. This is the reason I wanted to bring you and everyone else to talk with me because this is what I want. I want people to know that you guys actually do other stuff besides dancing and your motives and your reason and what you just said. You just support. That's your priority. It's not fun. I mean, your priority is like supporting your friends and your family and your loved ones. So that's good. I'm proud of you. I can come right now and give you a hug. I don't want your
thank
again.
you.
I don't want your boyfriend to beat the crap out of me. But like,
Oh,
it's showing
yeah,
up there
hugs,
unexpectedly.
hugs.
I know, but that's noble of you. I respect that, and this is. I'm happy you said that because all of those that are listening, the viewers, carefully, remember what Helena said. Support. I mean, I always say, you know, one hand washes the other. If you do good to someone, it comes back to you. Of course, you do bad, it comes back to you too. But if you do good, it comes back to you. And I think part of being a great organizer is exactly what you said. You know,
Yes.
you can still do your stuff and make as much money as you want and dandy and the media, but then again, be respectful to that woman or that girl who's also needs a chance, like you had the chance.
The little one actually is waking up now.
Oh no, no, no. Okay, okay, okay. I know you have to. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm going to ask you this final question before you go. I don't want to hold you back up too much. Okay, events. I hear your little one. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on 1 second.
I'm almost done with your mommy. Trust me. Hang in there, little one. Hang in there. Okay. Events. Please, please, please tell everyone about some upcoming events that you would like to share with everyone before you go. Please.
Yeah, I have my La Quimica event, so people can go to La Quimica Dance Socials on Instagram to get all the information, or they can follow me on my Helena Mambotera Facebook event.
Mhm.
It's going to be Halloween social.
Oh.
I do it once a month with Jody Smooth and Bachata Larry, and this we're having this one on the 20th, and we're going to be giving out $150 cash prizes,
Ooh.
um, to the best costume, and it's sponsored by my girl Michelle Gasca from I want to say EXP Realty. I called it Expo for whatever reason. I don't think I got that right. But either way, she's sponsoring it, so she'll be there and greeting everybody, and then she'll get on the mic and like talk to everybody about what she does. But she's a great person. Great to have her there, and we're sponsoring the costume contest. We do salsa bachata.
Mhm.
Jody Smooth will be the DJ. Bachata Larry DJs towards the end of the night, and he also does the photography. I'm coming.
Hang in there, little one.
And yeah, and so go to the event page. Is the La Quimica Halloween
Okay.
um, co- costume party, and you'll see it on Facebook. You'll see it on mine and at the La Quimica Dance Socials page.
Mhm.
And right now, tickets are $15. So the day before the event is the last time you can get the tickets for 15, and then it's going to be 20 the day of the social. But we dance until 2 a.m. I love it because a lot of my students come out. A lot of the people that I dance with, they come out, and it's a really friendly environment. A lot of people just, it's kind of like, you're just hanging. It's like almost like a backyard barbecue. Like everyone knows everybody.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. We got drink specials, great drink specials actually, and everyone just has a really good time. So we've been doing it, and we already hit our 1 year anniversary. So I'm really
Oh,
proud of that. So yes, we had a
congratulations. Yeah.
so it's a big deal because it's a lot of work to do a social and keep it going. So we had a great anniversary party. Just great performances. Yeah, she's ready to go, so I'm already
That's okay.
timed out.
You're gonna go. I'm not gonna keep you anymore. But do me a big favor, please, please, please.
Mm-hmm.
All of the stuff you told me, please share it on our webpage. You know, the Halloween stuff and
Well,
all of that. Please,
okay.
please share it. I would love to see that. Okay. Share
All
anything
right.
else. Share anything else you wish to share. You know that. Share anything else you wish to
Yeah.
share, like you've been doing for the last 2 years. Thank you for. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. 'Cause I know you have a kid, and oh my God, thank you from the bottom of my
Just
heart.
making
Thank
when
you.
she woke up.
Thank you.
All right.
But still, thank you. Not many moms I know would do this. Trust me. They would say, Roswell, forget it, no interview. But you said you were able to fit me in somehow. So that told me a lot about you. Okay, so from the
Oh, and
bottom of my heart,
I
I want everyone to know this on social media. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
yes, and if anyone wants to take progressive, I also teach on Wednesdays on in North Bethesda, so they can also follow my information. If they follow me on Facebook, they can get my information, or they can go to www.helenamambotera.com. They'll get all my information of where I teach, all the events that I host in general, like what's going on with me. So thank you so much. I really appreciate this. It was really good connecting with you.
Of course, and I'm going to try to do this again in 2024, and I want you to come back
Yes.
next year and talk
Okay.
with me again. I love it. I love talking with you. Okay, have a good night, and if you're ever in the South, like Georgia or Miami or Florida this winter, let me know. Or when you come back up to New York, New York City, let me know. I'll introduce you to some friends of mine. Dance. Good night, and
Okay.
thank you so much, and thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.